So let's do that. All right.
Where are you in the building? Because usually you're by you're in your office.
Yeah, I'm in my office. I'm in my office. I've got, let's see, is that okay, ladies?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that looks good.
You got to see my Crown Royal bag.
They used to keep the brown stuff in there though.
I keep wires in those bags, but they look crazy.
Oh goodness.
Okay.
So everybody, we'll get started in 2 more minutes. We're going to give people a chance to come on in. So we'll get started at 7:33. Welcome to today's blockchain chat.
Hey, Eric.
Put your city in the chat as well for us, everybody, so we can recognize you. Make sure that Najah knows who you are. Also, put your major. Najah's a BBC member, so she knows exactly what we're talking about. Put your major in the chat for Najah so she can know what everybody is specializing in as well. I don't see anything in the chat. Y'all are quiet tonight. All right. Okay, everybody's shy. Or is everybody still watching Harry and Meghan and Coming to America? And there's just a lot of Black news out. There's a lot going on in Black America.
Yes. Reply. Yeah.
Yes.
The blockchain developer.
Okay.
Hello. Yeah, Ron. Yeah, I'm reading what you're writing here. Hey, Michael.
Slowly, because they all come at the same time.
Hey, Stephanie. Hey, Adil. Good to see you. Tokenization. Perfect. All righty then. Well, it's 7:33. Let me start up the recording again. So, hello everybody. If it is Wednesday, you know it's blockchain day. So welcome to Blockchain Chat. We are a community of Black people that study the business of blockchain. And I am here today with my co-hosts, Dr. Keisha Waddell, Talisha Shine, Eric Spence, and the woman I am calling the First Lady of Crypto. I don't know if she has a catch name. I have to figure out what that is.
A couple of them.
There's a couple of, so I'm calling her the First Lady of Crypto. She'll tell us what her name is. Talisha will give her a fabulous name. But Miss Najah Roberts is here from the West Coast, California. Welcome, Najah.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I miss you all.
Miss you too. Yes. So we were actually supposed to go for our conference.
I'm hearing some background.
It's not me.
It's not me.
For once. Okay. Yeah, I think that's bad. I think it's Dr. Keisha. Must be some feedback, Dr. Keisha, on your end. So yeah, we were supposed to actually go to California in 2020. No, it's supposed to be 2021, sorry, for our BBC conference, but it was canceled because of the Rona. So instead we get Najah here on the line with us, and we're grateful to have her here. So what I'm gonna do is just tell everybody for 2 minutes what BBC is, give my co-hosts a chance to introduce themselves, talk about any news stories that they have, and then we are going to engage with Najah Roberts, all about crypto, blockchain, other things that she is working on right now as well. So at BBC, we focus on the business of blockchain. We're all about Black people across the diaspora, learning about new blockchain careers, starting your blockchain-based businesses. If you want to invest in the blockchain, whether you're investing time or money into a blockchain project, and ultimately participating in the $3.1 trillion industry, this is the place to be. with regards to that. We're often talking about, actually every week, we talk about mainstream adoption. And if you were in our Discord group or in Flock, which everybody, Flock is closing at the end of the month, so meet us in Discord. Every day we're posting more and more stories about NFTs, about tokenization, especially. But there are other aspects. Crypto is on the rise, Bitcoin prices are on the rise, Ethereum, everything is just, it seems like it's starting to take off within the industry. And you'll see here the chasm, this first one here, the red one, we are quickly getting to that point. And this is where the billionaires are made and the multi-millionaires. We want to make sure that you are a part of that group. So you want to prepare as an early adopter for when the early majority and the late majority comes in, and what you want to think about how you're going to monetize the blockchain to work for you. So yes, we geek out over tokenization of assets, smart contracts, blockchain security, but we also geek out over other parts of blockchain as well. I think next week, if not the following week, we have a gentleman coming on to talk about the supply chain. I think actually that is next week. And then the following week, we have Bettina coming on to talk about user interface, UI, UX, and user experience. So that should be pretty interesting. And then our final blockchain chat is the 31st, and it'll be a surprise with regards to what we are talking about on that day. So yeah, these are the upcoming March webinars that you can, put in your calendar. And all of our webinars and blockchain chat is every Wednesday at 7:30. And also, if you want to take a blockchain course, go to blockchainstudies.tech. In order to see what the courses are, we have Blockchain 101 as well as other courses there. You will be able to take them through June, okay? And then also you can meet us in Discord, and I will make sure to put that in the chat as well for anybody who wants to connect with us in Discord. So blockchainstudies.tech. And with that, I want to open it up to Talisha. Introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. I'm Talisha Shine. I am the admin and co-founder of BBC, as well as an Inner Circle member. I'm your tech advisor, so I'm that back-end person who tells you all the stuff that you don't want to know about the tech, but it's necessary sometimes that we do still focus on the business of blockchain here. So glad to have you.
Well, the technology flows into the business of blockchain, and one of the things that Talisha really does is hammers in our head that you do not start with the tech. You start with the business case and what problem are you solving. So we're always grateful for her. Eric?
Yes, Eric Spence. I am BBC Inner Circle member, tokenization maximalist, Don Juan of tokenization. That's how much I love it.
We're getting there.
That's how much I love it, and I just love that application of just all of the myriad of ways in which we are then able to capture value that just leaks throughout our society. We have never been able to capture it before, and now we are able to do that represented in tokens in crypto. So That's it. That's me.
Yeah, and hip hop is actually really taken to tokenization as well. So it wouldn't surprise me if Black people get on board with that sooner rather than later, as their favorite hip hop artists are starting to drop tokens for their albums and stuff like that. So, and Dr. Keisha, the fabulous.
Hello there, all. Dr. Keisha here, BBC, one of the founding members. My biggest thing is just education. There's just always something to learn in this space, and I'm trying to sweep all those folks over the hump of the innovation curve and bring people along, because it's all about digitization at this point and all of its forms and flavors. And it's just no time for not being that person to not be in the mix about it anymore. I think coronavirus has shown us that, and all of it. And so I'm here to help those folks who struggle most in that area. That's me. I'm the educator.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for everything you've done as well, Dr. Keisha, with regards to our education. And now we are going to bring Najah up in order to chat with us. So this is just going to be a friendly chat tonight. We can talk crypto, we can talk blockchain, we can talk about crypto, blockchain plug, all of that. I do want to let everyone know that Najah is super special to us. She actually is, I think you're the only African American or only African American female that has a retail space that teaches crypto to the community, which I think is special. And you do that in Los Angeles and Chicago, from what I remembered.
I do it in Los Angeles, and we'll talk about Chicago.
Oh, you're going to talk about Chicago, okay. And Najah, I saw on your profile means successful, which I love that,
Yes.
that your name means successful.
I changed my name.
I know. I read that on your profile. So, and you have a wonderful, rich history with regards to, being an engineer and then falling in love with crypto and all of that. So why don't you tell, first of all, outside of the First Lady of Crypto, I got to know, what names do people call you and what name do you call yourself?
Actually, just like Najah. Honestly, I like Najah, and people, they call me the Queen of Crypto. And if you Google the Queen of Crypto, she went to prison, right?
Right, you don't want that one.
The Queen of Crypto. So no, I really just say Najah, but people call me all kinds of stuff, and I appreciate that, because I am working hard for my folks to make sure that our folks, as Dr. Keisha said, are educated. We got to get the education out. So that's like the bottom line. So I said, I don't care what they call me, as long as they're listening and focusing on just focusing on what's coming out of my mouth. Like right now, that curve you just showed, we have got to get in there. And so that's what this is about.
Yeah. So then let's talk about that as the first question. And any of my panelists, y'all can jump in with your questions at any time too. What are you seeing right now with regards to crypto, with regards to blockchain, and with regards to that curve? I think it's the Roberts curve, and the chasm, and our ability to actually capitalize on the industry. What are you seeing?
Absolutely. So what am I saying? As you all probably well know, there is a huge NFT push happening. So people that don't even know about cryptocurrency or blockchain are coming in this door talking about doing NFTs, and they have the slightest idea of what they're talking about, but they're just ready to go. And so really for our folks, it's been very interesting. So let me just kind of back up and say, I found Clubhouse at the beginning of January. Clubhouse has changed my life. It has changed the cryptocurrency space in our community. And I am seeing so many people now eager to learn, not because the price of Bitcoin is high and it's like the hottest thing going, because of access to somebody real that they can talk to and listen to. And it has been an incredible, it's different than anything I've experienced since we've been open 2 years. Like, and I get it when people say, oh, there we go, building another platform that we don't own. I get it, but the people are there, they're ready to learn and eager. So do I say that platform doesn't belong to us, so I refuse to teach on it? The answer to that for me is no. I'm gonna get on there, because when I get on there, we've got 200 to 500 people every single day that are showing up to learn about cryptocurrency. When they start talking about blockchain, I direct them right to you all. So I hope you've seen some numbers in that, because I'm sending people over. But it's been a phenomenal thing to really see our community starting to finally grasp what we've been trying to tell them. And I think really Clubhouse is instrumental in my space for that. Because it's like, I kind of felt like I've been rowing in this boat. I've been rowing in this boat and I've been catching the waves. And then Clubhouse came, and then I got reunited with Lamar Wilson.
Mhm.
And then there's like 10 or 15 other people that are really diehard cryptocurrency individuals that are inside of the Black Bitcoin billionaires, is what we call ourselves. And we've all come together with one goal, one message, and that's just to make sure that we're stacking Satoshis. And so when we got that mind frame together where we're going to stop telling our people, not stop telling them, because I think it was a mindset shift that happened in January, where we said, what if we just broke this thing down and told everybody to shoot for 1 million Satoshis? Let's see what that looks like. So when we start seeing 1 million Satoshis and stop talking about Bitcoin, it started changing. And Lamar did something one night that I wasn't a part of, but he literally told everybody that there was this new coin called a Toshi. And that Toshi was less than a penny.
Toshi.
The cost of Satoshis is less than a penny. And he said, it's this Toshi coin. Have you all heard of this Toshi? And I kid you not, this, God is my witness, I had over 450 phone calls to this office because people thought they were buying Toshis and not Bitcoin.
Oh,
Wow.
It was a real wake up that our folks are still not listening, but they hear the stuff about get rich quick and cheap and some of those things. But when they called and we had to answer all these messages, it was like, listen, he's saying Satoshi. And then they were like, oh, well, I could have just bought Bitcoin for less than a penny. So now it's like stacking and stacking and stacking. As opposed to looking at the $55,000. And so it has been a huge shift in what we need to do in our community. And I think that that moment really surprised us all. It just really surprised us. And I'm still getting emails to buy Toshi. And they still, a lot of people still don't know. So it's interesting. But
well,
yeah.
I mean, I think it's going to take time for people to catch up. I think that this is brand new for everybody, and people are seeing the increase, the rapid increase of, the value, or the price, I should say, not necessarily the value of crypto. And now you're starting to see it everywhere as well. And we're always concerned we're going to miss the boat, right? What's the latest thing? So, yeah. Talisha, you have a question or something you want to say?
I would say I remember that night very vividly because I too got barraged with where do I, what exchange, what is an exchange, how do I get it, how much do I need, tell me what. I got that like fervor of people. And I'm thinking again, it was you're buying Bitcoin. And they kept saying, no, I don't want that. And I'm like, you are, this is what it is. And so having that dialogue, it's the thing that I think is very interesting, where a word change can change the whole entire game. And again, I think people aren't listening. And that is the critical part, because we've been saying this for over 3 years now of incremental buying, fractional shares. We've done every analogy that we could possibly think of. I know I've said it in a gazillion different ways, and just calling it something offhanded made that work. But again, I think it's time, plus that like people are piqued at seeing what is it. They really don't know what it is, but if they have a name and something to connect it to, it becomes a thing. And so that's what I said. We have to be cautious. That's the only thing, because again, people were really animated about getting it. And I'm like, you don't even know what you're buying. So I could have sold you something if I was being nefarious, something that you didn't even know you were getting. So that's also that fervor comes with, you have to temper it with that education. That's the part that we always kind of talk about. The education always has to precede whatever you're doing. Even if you feel like that FOMO is taking over, you have to take that step and pause.
Yeah. So, Najah, what's a question that I'm going to ask you? Well, two questions, and I hope that I remember them both. Number one is, what's a question that you get all the time that you answer for people all the time? And then the second question is, what's a question you wish people would ask you? So I don't want to forget. So I'm probably going to write it down because I want you to answer both of them. So start off with the first one, question that you get all the time and the answer that you give.
How do I start right now? Before they know what it is, they want to know, how do I start? And so the answer to that has been, again, prior to Clubhouse, those questions, we're figuring some things out now. So even though I sell Bitcoin and I have an exchange, for my people, for our people, the barriers to entry are great on some of the exchanges. But what we found is that almost every person has Cash App, good, bad, or indifferent. And we can get started right there, right away. So again, even though I sell cryptocurrency, I send people directly to Cash App, fourth icon on the right, go ahead and buy it, flip between Satoshis, so they start getting that in their head, and the cash denomination. So that's one of the things that people always ask, how do I start? And so I also came up with like a starter kit, a Bitcoin starter kit that I email out. It's like a flip book, and it just helps walk people through how to get started. I've come up with that since now there's such a demand for people asking the same question over and over. So yeah, that's the major question. And then what I wish they would ask, I wish more people would ask how they can begin to shave off some of the things that they spend money on or feel are most important in their lives in order to save for their future. I wish that our people would ask those questions, like, how can I stop? And I don't even want to say stop, because I don't want people to go cold turkey on anything. But how can I stop going to Starbucks 7 times a week and maybe just go 5, so I have a little more money to invest? I wish our folks would engage in those types of questions, because when we're talking to them, or when I'm talking to them, I have to kind of pry into those things. Like, what could you possibly forego once or twice a week or once a month in order to save up? Because a lot of our people always say, well, I don't have money to do that. And the same people that say, I don't have money to do that, I remember a case in point. About 3 weeks ago, a girl said she eats about $90 worth of crab every single week. She goes and buys crabs. And I'm like, can you not buy crabs?
I'm from Louisiana, and there's not that much crab. not even crab cakes.
And she was on Clubhouse Live. And Lamar says, sister, can you just do 1 week without crab? And she's like, no, I need my crab. And he's like, no, you can do imitation crab one day and then the rest of those days. But it's that thing that we've got to get in our head. So I wish folks would just start to ask, what can I shave away just a little bit of, so that I can really begin to save for, not necessarily save specifically in Bitcoin, because I always teach, no matter what you have, 401k, annuities, life insurance, real estate, all of those things are great. Stocks, if you're in Forex, whatever it is you're doing, just add cryptocurrency to that, just in addition to, do a little bit in addition to. And I think what's happening this week, and I know you didn't ask this, but what is being asked of the rest of the world right now is how much money they need to be saving in Bitcoin specifically. So when we talk about the altcoins and all of that, that's a whole nother argument. But I think the rest of the world and the other communities are asking, what amount of money should we be saving on a monthly basis in Bitcoin specifically, in order to make sure that we're not left behind? The Morgan Stanley guys that I deal with, several other companies that I deal with, are forbidden to talk to their clients about Bitcoin or cryptocurrency.
Really?
However, Sideline, they're telling them to hold 30% of their portfolio in Bitcoin, and they're sending them here so that they can circumvent their brokerages. That's 30% high net worth clients. But what happened on Saturday, which I believe is what's happening to the price of Bitcoin today, is Susie Orman. Susie Orman has just told every housewife in America, in Canada, and everywhere else that listens to her to put $100 away a month in Bitcoin. $100 is not a lot. But what's happening is she said it on Saturday. So now these housewives who didn't know anything about Bitcoin are starting to get KYC, or they're going through their processes, and they're starting to get into this market, and they're just getting ready to, it's going to be a different space.
Yeah, and Coinbase is, doing this IPO and all of that. So Mike is in YouTube, and Mike said, invest that COVID stimulus next week when it shows up. So, I just wrote for the 10K project, I just wrote a little blog about, that stimulus check, if you are getting it, could be the foundation to, you building wealth, little ways, right? That you use it to do so. So Mike V is also saying we are right now with crypto and blockchain development where Netscape was in 1997. And we talk about that all the time here, Mike. So yeah, I think it's moving a lot more rapidly within NFTs and tokenization though. We're seeing a lot of forward movement in that area. Go ahead, Najah.
No. I'm just saying a lot of forward movement.
Yeah.
And I think for our folks, because we're creative people and we come up with these ideas and we haven't been able to monetize them, or we've not been able to monetize them really to the degree that they needed to be monetized. It's been somebody else always holding the bag. I think we have an opportunity as creative people to take this thing over, because people they're hearing about the NFTs, and I'm just talking about, I get up every morning now and start listening to the NFT conversation on Clubhouse on purpose, because I'm not an artist in that way, but I want to figure out how to help our folks hone in on the painting skills, the music skills, just all of the things, like I said, that where we're unsung. But when I'm in those groups, I hear our folks coming on with these ideas, and they're saying them out, and then they're in there like vultures. They're buying up they go and buy the domain names and some of those things. And I just want, on Clubhouse, you got to raise your hand to be like, be quiet, don't tell them your ideas. But I really think that it's going to benefit our community if we can really get in here, figure this thing out, and start to work together to make sure that everybody is covered and safe. And so it's a big thing happening right now.
Well, last month, Rich, who is here, who is one of the kings or princes of tokenization, and Eric and Dr. Keisha did a really great job of putting together Tokenization February. So I want to encourage anybody who is new to us to please go back to the February blockchain chats. They had Douglas Pepe on, who did a great, what do you call it? Demo, yes. Sorry, my brain isn't working now. A great demo of his software, his NFT software. And, we had Alistair Caithness come on and talk about how they're going to be using tokenization, hopefully, to, fund public infrastructure and things like that. So there's a lot of great things. And then Rich, of course, came on with an author and talked about the small project that he's doing, but that's going to lead to bigger and bigger things. So I do want to give the floor to Rich. And I'm just letting you know, Rich, I keep putting you on mute because there's a little bit of feedback sometimes when you're off mute and Najah speaks. So it's not to be disrespectful. But Rich, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself, tell Najah about what you're doing, and also ask her any question that you have.
Oh, Hi, I'm Rich Davis, located in the Bronx, New York, member of Black Blockchain Consultants for three years now. Yes, and blockchain decentralized digital asset consultant. You know, tokenizing anything from NFT to DeFi, but want to focusing more on the NFTs and digital assets, primarily art and literature to also. This encompasses art. Good evening, Najah. I've seen you around in Clubhouse. Great job that you're doing there too also. So yeah, that's my passion right now with the tokenization. I have a book that we're myself and a client and partner out in the Manchester, UK, Horace Jones, that we're layering with the book that we have coming out with regards to the cover being a work of art in a comic book style, and layering it in such a way that you can have unlock items like the actual book itself. In addition to what we're building on is the audio part, and coming out with a single, which eventually be an album, and just which actually adds to the amount of layers that you can add to an NFT. So
That's awesome.
yeah. A lot of great tips in Clubhouse. I recommend anybody who's listening, an incredible wealth of knowledge, and I continue to learn, and as it evolves to also in Clubhouse. What a great community. NFT tips. I think anything that you can just search NFTs, and I'd say you get a wealth of knowledge through Clubhouse with regards to the platform, where to actually mint, what is minting, basically putting your artwork on the blockchain, and you can get really creative with it. Like Najah was mentioning before, maybe you want to ask some questions, but don't give away all your ideas. I'm actually holding back some ideas, and I'm working on behind the scenes too also. Yeah, my question for Najah. So Najah, what have you been finding through the rooms in Clubhouse with regards to NFT, and do you believe that's the gateway to a lot of our community? Because as you said before, we're very creative too also.
So what have I found yes, we are very creative. So I want to get back to something that you said about the tokenization, because Eric doesn't know, I talk about him probably every other day. And he's going to be surprised that I was actually waiting for this to tell you all what we're doing. But in those rooms, I found Baron Davis. I found some people that are working on NBA Top Shops. Like, I have been networking in Clubhouse like crazy, because of the fact that the people that own the companies, the people that are the forerunner that have been doing this stuff for, I don't know, they talk like they've been doing it for 12 years, but I've been inboxing and really networking on there, because they're on the stage talking. All you gotta do is click them, go to their Twitter or Instagram and send them. Like, it's been that simple to really talk to individuals who have started companies, or people, a Jack Dorsey. Like, what are the chances? Sorry about the siren. We're in Los Angeles with so many COVID cases, but that's another story. So anyways, just with like Tiffany Haddish, and like Tiffany Haddish is talking about in her room about NFTs and technology and blockchain. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
And from being in the space, I don't want to repeat that, but anyway, I was just like, wow, it's interesting to see that she's even talking about technology. And so it's just been finding the right people for the right projects. So when you speak about art really quickly, just this morning on NFT tips, I met a young brother who works with the NBA. He has a bus here in Los Angeles where he drives across the country And did you hear him this morning? He decorates the basketball courts and he's doing these moments for NFTs. Like, it's just incredible, you know, what the possibilities are. And because I've been listening to NFTs, it's not my space, but again, trying to figure out what our community can do to fit in. My son is somebody who's obsessed with, coming from the military, building guns. And so now he's starting to build these NFTs, gun NFTs, because what I'm thinking is, because I hear so many people talking about collectibles, things that they can collect that make absolutely no sense. They're paying this money for, so why not make a fake gun and make it an NFT? But then my son came up with this idea, well, I'll sell them the NFT, but then I'll send them the real package to put together. So just those types of things, and how we move it from digital into the real. And then he started thinking, well, what about if I do? And I'm like, do not tell them that on that Clubhouse, because they're going to steal your idea with collectibles. Yep. So any collectible that you can think about, like, people really have extra money right now to do a bunch of things, with. Maybe not so much that we see, but there's a lot of additional money out here. Even in, you know, talking about Canada really quick, because they're taking their because they've been getting stimulus checks from the beginning, every single month, if you all didn't know. And those are a lot of the people that are buying things here in the United States and really getting into cryptocurrency. But this NFT space, for people that are in Canada that are collecting because they've got that additional income coming in, this is time for us to really plan ourselves and get some collectibles sold. so that's kind of where we are. But
I got another question. Do you know of anybody or that has that in our community has a platform like a wearable or a super rare or a OpenSea or getting into that space?
So there's a brother named Jamal Boynton. He's working with Baron Davis, and they're looking to put something in place like that. They're looking to put something in place. So you might want to reach out to him, or I can help you reach out to him. Jamal Boynton is an LA Laker coach. He got his championship ring and all this stuff. So they're really working on some sort of platform that they can make sure that the players monetize from these moments, because the players are angry that they're not getting a dime of that NBA Top Shop stuff. And so they're looking to put a platform together. So they're actually working on that. So that's a good group to kind of lock arms with. They're at the very beginning, and they're really searching for a real good partnership. So that's something to know. So I can put you in contact with him.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Have you come across any maybe attorneys that are looking into the laws with regards to intellectual property? So by minting or getting things on the blockchain.
I got him too, off of Clubhouse. He's a brother and he is bad.
Okay.
I have him too, so I will pass that information on to you. So
yeah, pass that on to me too, so that we can have it as part of the BBC community. Definitely. Yeah. Brilliant. So.
Yeah, because one thing that I just want to bring up before you go is that, you know, we're usually first, you know, and just like you were saying earlier, Najah, you know, we want to make sure that we get our due, you know, monetize it and everything. Because look, you know, way back from the cotton gin to the traffic lights, you know, to Crest toothpaste, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, it's time for us to be, you know, not only be first, but just get paid off of it. You know, I would love to see more Black faces out there. I know, you know, a couple of them I've seen in Clubhouse. They are coming up. They are developing, like MC Hammer, Fab Five, and there's some other, you know, African American celebrities that are working on the NFTs. So I'm glad to see that. Very happy to see that. So yeah, let's just keep grinding and
I
be
want
out
to.
there.
I'm sorry, Rich. I want
Yeah.
to bring something up here. Ron asked a great question in the chat, saying, "I'm trying to help my friend incorporate NFTs in her stone sculptures. Any suggestions?" Okay, this is where somebody should have their shingle up, a website. We send them to your website. You have a Calendly set up. You know, you are the person of NFTs, the person of tokenization, etc. Like, these are the types of things, again, where Najah's also able to start sending you to people, where you are able to go into the hopefully Black billionaires within Clubhouse and be able to say, this is my website. If you have an NFT, you know, they get 15 minutes for free, and then after that, they got to pay your hourly rate, whatever it is. But we need to start hanging up our shingles. And I guarantee you, not only Black people are going to start coming to you, you're going to have people from all ethnicities. I've been saying this for 3 years. I hope somebody hears me, because somebody's going to make 7 figures a year, especially if you think about not only charging an hourly rate, but on some of these projects, getting a piece of the back end too. Y'all got to start thinking, or not say y'all, we have got to start thinking strategically and start thinking about the business of blockchain. Otherwise, we're going to see this chasm coming and it's going to pass us by. So somebody, you know, connect with Ron, you know, and others as well, and tell me what that website is when you get it up. I want to pass it over to Eric though.
No, I just saw Ron here too. Like, hit me up, Ron, because I do have a great idea on how that could work. Now, let me just ask, listen, Najah, this is a question. Did anyone get a chance to see the Today Show, like their little special on NFTs this week?
No.
All right. You need to Google that when you get a chance to watch it on YouTube, because these dummies were over there doing a whole bunch of snickering and laughing when people were talking about NFTs. And, you know, it's funny because I'm talking about the host, okay? We're doing a whole bunch of snickering and everything like that. Like, let me just say this, okay? We are early, like Ron said he saw it. We are early on this, and there are still people that are kind of like naysayers somewhat. And it kind of reminded me, I don't know if you remember that old video with Bryant Gumbel and Katie Couric when they were talking about the internet and about email and everything. It was like deja vu. They had the same exact reaction to it.
I remember that same one.
Yeah, the same exact reaction to it. And I'm just seeing that, you know, this thing, first of all, I'm going to say this. I'm going to make a hot take on this. I do believe that this is going to exceed the expectations that a lot of people have. I just really do believe that's going to happen.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it will far exceed it. And I know a lot of people won't, you know, some people won't get it. And Sheree put it up earlier, looking at that, how it goes with the laggers. Don't get it twisted. I think sometimes people kind of think that the laggers are people that maybe aren't as, you know, sophisticated in that sort of sense. That's not true. Like, the laggers will happen with even people that are in very prominent positions, but still can't wrap their heads around this, you know, and begin to understand it. First of all, like, I'm just going to say this, and Najah, you're one of the best examples of all time for this, is that you knew early on in the show that this wasn't just about tech and finance. This was also a strong social, cultural component to that. And that's what I think a lot of people don't quite get, because I think that they kind of do maybe silo it off and put it only into the, you know, into the fintech box or whatever. But Najah, like, tell us, like, what have you kind of even just seen of the questions and the people that are coming to you? Like how do they then, like, you know, pretty much approach the space when you see them?
Well, it's just been different. So let me just speak to like 2 things that you all said. We as a people have been groomed for a time such as this. Like, I know that this is, like, I just want to scream and hit some stuff and say, this is our time. This is us. Everybody else is running around here like, Well, what, because they're not, I don't want to say, we're creative. I don't want to say they're not, but we're creative. Like, this is our time. We need to get this and we need to get it right. But we've got so many different people coming with so many different things. It's really been actually hard for me to kind of harness. It's causing me to kind of be all over the place, if that's the right word. Because we got the newbies that we can't leave behind. We got the churches that need to understand about endowment funds. We've got the people that need to understand NFTs. We got our kids that need to be in technology. And I think that's what has happened with me is I have all these different departments, like the mad scientists, just making sure that we leave nothing undone. So when somebody says, I would like to do this. And I'm like, well, we got that. Well, we need to do this. Well, we got that. Well, the NFT is one of the things we don't have, but now we have partners coming in. But when you ask, like, what are people coming? Like, they're coming from all different directions because we as a people are at a point, and I don't know about across the country. I kind of do because it doesn't change from community to community much. But we're at a point where we're kind of seeing that the traditional way that we've been told to go to school, get a good education so you can get a good job is not going to give us the retirement that we have been. And our folks are finally starting to say, well, wait a minute. My 401k is looking like a 201k, and I've got to do something else like quick, but I need you to hurry up and teach me. And it's just a lot of different things that we're dealing with, and I'm just praying.
And I want to add to that before you go on. And also, people are recognizing that their jobs are in jeopardy because of AI, robotics, now blockchain, all of this new tech. So if you're 45 years old and you thought you were going to work that job to 65, even your good government job, that may not be the case, right? So go ahead, Najah.
And your good government job.
I heard Willie Jolly say it that time. Say it once like that. It's stuck in my head.
Absolutely right. So we're looking for alternatives. And again, we were made for a time such as this. We are resilient people. I don't feel like the reparations is a whole nother issue, but I think that our reparations are going to come in the form of cryptocurrencies, NFTs, and some other things, because it's something that nobody can take away from us. Nobody can really control the way they've been able to control everything. And so one of the biggest things that I'm taking from this space right now, as much as I've tried to work and build, that collaboration is the new business model, period.
Absolutely.
It is. And it's time, and that's one of the things that I try to instill at the Black Bitcoin Billionaires. We have got to quit rowing in our own little boats and get on this ship together, come with the same unified message. Even though I have a crypto 101, you have a crypto 101, and you do too. We need to focus on people first, and then we can then we've got to worry about some other things, and we can come do that collectively. And I think that's why we've been so successful thus far. But what I decided to do was take a backseat to all that I've been working on for 2 years. I'm really proud of this. You guys, I was waiting on Eric Spence to tell him this, because I had him talk to my attorney last year about tokenization of this building and some other buildings when we do crypto blockchain plug. But I am officially a partner now with Hill Harper.
Okay.
He has come on board with crypto blockchain plug, and I have come on board with his company because we do something similar but different. So we will have the first Black wallet, digital wallet in America that will be launched during May, which is the bicentennial year of the Black Wall Street bombing. And so everybody can start registering now at theblackWallStreet.com. People can start registering. So what we're going to do is make sure that we have our Black coins involved on our exchange, on that wallet, where they can purchase Bitcoin and some of those other coins. We'll get into that. But also for people that are still unbanked, but still need to come in with fiat, what we want to do is just go ahead and start opening up these crypto blockchain plugs all across the US and making sure that our communities have access like they do here in Los Angeles. And so I think that collaboration is huge, because again, people want to get into cryptocurrency, and the first thing I do is send them the Edge wallet, or I send them the Exodus wallet, and it's somebody else's community that we're sending.
Right.
So now we can say that we have our exchange, either brick and mortar or online through the new Black Wall Street. So you can go to the, like I said, the blackwallstreet.com and find that site, sign up. So what we're trying to do is just make sure that our Black dollar is circulated for 30 days within the right cycles, and not leave out in 30 seconds, because that's most of what's about 7 minutes. But so that's what we're working on. I'm super excited about that. I said tokenization because part of that platform will have some tokens to reward people for learning some of the stuff that Dr. Keisha's talking about. And it's just a really innovative program that I think everybody will love. He's been planning this long before he actually found me on Clubhouse, by the way. So, and then, you know, his people got in contact with me, and I was just, you know, because I've been having my head down so hard trying to make this thing go. And it's like, okay, here's an opportunity. Do I say this is mine and this is what I'm doing? Or do we just merge this thing for our people and make something absolutely fabulous happen? And so one of the components is tokenization. And he's bringing in the right folks to talk about these different buildings that we need to tokenize. And you guys are like Eric Spence, he don't even, I'm telling you, I'm like, yeah, we got to get Eric Spence in here. We got to get this stuff going. So I'm excited to finally be able to move out of this space and now do Chicago, Detroit. One of the people, I'm not going to say his name yet, he comes out of Detroit. But they're really looking at making sure that our communities have a location everywhere, even if it's 1,000 square feet, where the community can come in and do the things that they need to do to take care of business, to make sure that we save. And then we're starting to go after, if we do get reparations, education is key, because it doesn't make sense to get reparations. And then we go like what was happening here. I don't know if any of you have heard me talk about, they got these stimulus checks and this EDD, employment development money, and the line is around the corner at Louis Vuitton in the middle of a pandemic with all Black folks. And I just want to walk down the line like the Three Stooges and just slap them all. Like, why are you out here in the middle of a pandemic buying a Louis Vuitton belt, buying this bull crap that they could care less about us? And so what we've got to do with this thing is a huge push for, because we don't know, you know, how long this is going to last, or how long. The stimulus just got passed today. If you all didn't know, it literally is a done deal today. And so the message we give out to these people, this may be our last opportunity to have, and I don't want to say something that we haven't worked for, because we work for it. We deserve it. Out of everybody, we deserve it. So, but we got to really get our folks to think smarter about what they do with this particular check that's about to hit your mailbox. You need to be real calculated, and because you need to be calculated, because something's got to happen, because it's not going back. I'll just put it that way. And we don't know what's going to transpire. So we really got to be calculated with this next round of stimulus money in our communities. And it's almost like really just kind of shaking people to say, hey, we got to do something different than we've done, or we're going to get the same thing that we've got. And that's not much. So that's kind of where I'm at. So we're working on some things, trying to collaborate with everybody as quick as possible, because I really feel like, as Alicia was saying, FOMO, fear of missing out, I really feel like, even though we're at the beginning of this, if we don't get this right in the next 3 years, I just said this today, we got that 3-year period as it relates to the halving period for Bitcoin, but we got this 3-year period also as it relates to creativity and NFT organization, because it's just growing, and people are looking to use us to get what they need, because they're used to doing that, because we've been the consumer, and it's time for us to not be the consumer, but the producer and the holder, the hodler. We gotta hodl these ideas. And I know I'm all over the place, but let me share one more thing that has been bringing some value. If you're in the NFT space, or thinking of being in the NFT space, now is the time to buy your domains.
Good point.
Or whatever that idea looks like, you need to get in there, figure out that domain configuration, and literally buy them. Because even if you don't use them, somebody will pay you for them, because they're gonna need them because of the nature of this space. And so it's really getting ready to be interesting. So I just wanted to share that, because we started snatching up some NFT domains, and we're already getting hits for people that want to buy them. So, but I'm not letting go just yet.
Hold on.
So we're gonna hold on. So, but yeah, I just wanted to put that out there. And I heard that on Clubhouse, just sitting in the room listening. A guy was talking about, the domains he was buying. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. Let me look up Black NFT and Black NFT art and Black, I just started doing all these variations, and the stuff was available. And so we just, so just like whatever you're thinking right now, we've got to start thinking out of the box as it relates to another side of this. Like, how can we monetize on every turn with this, because it's available? So somebody put unstoppable domains.
Yes. We had already done that. We had done a few, it's been quite a while now, but we did a chat about how to get unstoppable domains and walk through it. And most of us have them at this point, and it's .crypto, which is one of the greatest, extensions at this point, because that's what you need to link it. And that also gives you not only the website, but it also gives you that back end. So if you're looking to make sure that you don't have to go hop from exchange to exchange, or have a back end that's not, have the API connections and all those kind of things, that's the greatest domain provider at this point for NFTs. But I think another aspect to I always say the creative space, we look at that space because entertainment always drives this, but it's really going to be, I always say, the pragmatic, unsexy things that we're really good at. Like, that's where you have your church wants to create the ties and do the building fund. It's an NFT, which most people wouldn't realize that. Your lunch money for kids, like I said, my daughter goes to school, they have an account, she needs an NFT that can last her for 12 months or however long they're in school. She can make sure it re-ups. It can tell her when her balance is low. These are the kind of practical things that aren't fancy, aren't anything else, but they're usable. They're the greatest use cases because you do it already. You just need a better way to do it. Think of podcast or anything that has that recurring kind of thing going on with it, and that you need a bilateral communication, like, oh, it doesn't work, or oh, it's about to expire. Maybe we're having an event. That's, again, your church. We're having the church bazaar. Make sure you come. The church could send out a bulletin through the NFT. It doesn't need to be, okay, now you got to call so-and-so and Sister Mary and all that. You can have that conversation very much directed to the people that you want to have the conversation with. So I love the fact that we're having the artistic kind of conversation and the athleticism part in there. But it's really, again, those small, minuscule things, that's where adoption happens. The hype happens up here, and that gets people excited, but it's going to be those daily things of how do you pay your bill? Maybe you pay your bill through an NFT.
Hey, you know, Talisha, can I tell you something funny about that? Peter Schiff, who you know is just a notorious Bitcoin hater. Okay, well, he's bullish on NFTs. I listen to him, and he was
practicality. That's what I'm saying. I think people, it clicks only when you see practicality or when you see something that's relevant to you. That's what I'm saying. When people talk about digitization, it's hard, but then you say, well, you do it all day because you have the email, or you do it like this, or when was the last time you went to the bank to make a deposit? You really probably screenshot it and send it to your bank. You make it really, I would say, tangible, and really, it's just, like I said, innocuous to all the things that you're doing on a daily basis. And some people don't get it because, again, they're not into collectibles. Why? I can't even say, like, people say, oh, why would you buy a card? You know, a card that you have. And I'm like, people like those cards. People, I remember the Pokemon craze, and I was like, I had to have this card. It's those kind of things, sneakers, things that people want. If you don't understand, I say, the collectible culture, you may not get NFTs at this level. But if I tell you, hey, you pay your bill every month, wouldn't you like to get something back, or tell you, oh, your cable's going to be out, or they're coming up with something new, and maybe there's a discount if you bundle something up, and they could stop asking you about your auto warranty on your car. They could stop calling you. They can just buzz you. Wouldn't you like it better? And they go, oh, yeah, okay. That's where we're moving to. So I said, this is where there's a lot of polarization. And we're at the very top end right now because that's the hot, sexy stuff. But that low level stuff is going to blow this out of the water because it's concurrent. And it's not a collectible where I get it and I hold on to it for a while.
When are you going to teach us, sister? Because I've never heard that perspective ever.
Yeah, this is that. Yeah, I'm always like, again, I know I love to have this conversation because I get hit up a lot, and I'm like, it's practical. It's like, what are we wrapping into this? Yep. What are we doing? Because it's just a wrapper. I think people forget that it truly is just a housing mechanism. This is one of the oldest use cases for blockchain, was the NFT. So we can go all the way back to 2010, and this was it. This was how it was starting. Bitcoin was on its own little thing and causing its own little hurt, but this was the use case that showed the store of value in its truest sense, was that it was holding something for you that was uniquely yours. And that's where we are. But now we're kind of, it's glamorous and wonderful and real shiny right now, which is fantastic. But again, we're going to have to roll that back and be like, okay, what do we practically do with it on a daily basis? Is it something where I can just hit my QR code on my phone and interact and do what I need to do? Yes, it's going to come to that. But that's where we have to, build along that way. And I think now this is where the vertical, we're no longer horizontal. And I love that you talked about this, Najah. You're getting hit up and you feel like you're all over. The synergy is the vertical, because you can teach at every different level. And it's, like I said, building the church fund. It's like, if you're new, we can bring you in and show you the technology. If you want to do it at this level, here we are. Now, if you want to really just elevate it, we have it all. So it's a vertical that we're trying to work it. We're no longer trying to work in these little pods and silos. That's not going to work. Everybody just is going to have to tier where we are and what we're trying to do. So at any level, high or low, these things kind of come together, and it's a collective aspect, because this is where the cryptocurrency and blockchain, the principles of blockchain, all merge together to make this optimization possible for us. And that's kind of where we are, where the space is moving. But like I said, we got to take these little tangents to get people excited. So this is the marketing that we need to do, and it's working really, really well right now.
It's working.
Yeah, it's working real well.
Got me up at 6 o'clock listening to NFTs, so.
Yeah. I mean, there's all kind of stuff, and I love that. I love that you're into that part, and congratulations on that, because that's really.
No, I'm not into it. I'm just trying to figure out, like.
You are. I think that's what I said. That's the claim. You are. You have the dialogue. My whole point, it has the idea. Everything is about the idea, and we talk about this over and over. The business part always comes before the tech. We know that what's available to us, but we really don't know what to do with it. So it can't do anything until we click those pieces together. They're just separate entities. So we have to have that business, and you're really the catalyst to that. So that's what we really appreciate, and why we always love you when you come, because it's like you're doing all of these things to make sure that it pushes along, and we can plug and pull that, the tech at any point in time, because that's what it's for.
Well, we definitely need you too, because those of us who can push and pull can't do the tech part, right?
I got you. I got you.
Yeah, and yeah, once we get that framework, I'm ready to teach it, guys. I'm telling you, create some content around it. No question.
This is the perfect example of we all have our space in the same vertical. We're all building the same building. We're not building separate houses. We're all building the same house.
Absolutely.
That's what to do. That's really awesome.
And Najah, I wanted to ask you, you have your own podcast too, don't you? A new one? Or have you? It sounds like you've been so busy, you probably haven't been able to get to episode 2.
I did one episode.
It was great.
and I pushed that one out, and I've been on Clubhouse, like literally on Clubhouse. So
Yep.
Yeah, I've been waiting for you to pull some of those folks and line up your own. So we'll be over on your podcast.
And again, I'm just really trying to be strategic right now.
Yeah.
Because that the sky is falling for me. So I know Talisha said fear of missing out. I think for me, the sky is falling because so many things are happening where we're, you grow up and you know that you're in history and history is happening, but to know that we're actually in history, like the 2020, everybody's got on the mask, coronavirus, like we are literally the history.
Like, for real.
History. And so, but I look at that too in the cryptocurrency space, in the blockchain space, like we are history and we have a chance to make a change. And I don't think that I felt like even the last year or two that I really had the potential, and not that I didn't think I had the potential, but I didn't really think that we as a people had the potential to do as much as we have the opportunity to do, because we got closed mind. We didn't really think like February, I was telling my family, start getting supplies because it's about to shut down. This was February, end of February. And they were like, no. I'm like, listen, the first time I heard them say no NBA or NFL football game, I knew something was wrong.
Yeah, you knew it then. Like, oh, this is
get rid of, lose no money. So understand something is not being said and something is wrong. And so I can show, I have been texting my family all this stuff, and they were like, we don't know if she's going crazy, but we're just gonna listen. And people started listening in my family. And then when it finally, bam, they were like, how in the heck? Follow the money.
Yep.
It's about money. Follow it. And right now, follow all this stuff that's happening, sit back and pay attention and then act accordingly. So I'm just excited because I'm really feeling like we have a fighting chance to do what we need to do. And I'm gonna put this little nugget out there in the next 10 years, and then we're gonna have to do something a little bit different.
Amen.
Yeah. You know what you said about following the money, Najah, is something I thought about. If somebody bought Bitcoin every time news broke that a company bought Bitcoin with the billions, you'd be in profit.
Yeah.
Every single time, especially every single time, Michael Saylor bought, news came out, you'd be in profit. Every single time, Grayscale bought, you'd be in profit. Even the last person, the big news, Elon Musk, you'll be in profit.
Yeah. But what we're teaching people is to try to get out of the mindset of being in profit and being in the mindset of dollar cost averaging.
Sure.
Making sure that they're understanding that we're not here to get rich quick, because that's been our issue. So we're trying to get people to just do that $10, $50, $100 a month, a week, and just do that consistently, whether the price is up or down. Just do the dollar cost average, because it shows over time, just like it does with anything else that you do, that eventually be in the profit, but not really looking at the price, or your buys are not predicated upon, some of this news. Because by the time we hear the news, they've already been doing it. So it wasn't that
Exactly.
they bought $1.5 billion. They've been buying it. They just had to report it to the SEC. You just got to, they've been doing this. They're just having to report it publicly, right? So by the time we get it, it's kind of late. So if we just get in the mindset to let's just do this and just make it a routine, kind of change up what we've been doing and do something a little bit different, we can't fail. So one of my major pushes right now is to work with the Black churches because that's still our hub. That's where our parents and grandparents still do what the pastor says before they do what the doctor says.
Exactly.
So we can affect change in some of those minds. You know, we can go to our churches for loans. We can go to our churches to buy our properties. We can go to our churches because now they have senior centers. But they've got to understand that they've got to take some drastic measures and not continue to put $1 billion in the bank every Monday. They got to understand some different things. And so that's kind of one of the directions I'm going is church and crypto. Like I said, we're putting together divisions to really categorize some of these things that are specific to the needs of those specific things. And so church is one of the things that I'm working on, trying to make sure. And so I'm locking arms with George Frazier. He has a program called WINDS, WINDS. He has a whole program and they don't address cryptocurrency at all. And so, and it's for, he's got like 35,000 churches, pastors that are listening to him, and he's teaching and training, and they're talking about wealth and all these fabulous things. Cryptocurrency or blockchain, anything in his program. So those are the types of things. And we've already, you know, we just, if I have to just go over there and do what I need to do for free, like, and I know that's not sexy to people, but that's the sacrifice I'm willing to make sure the word gets out so that we can then later monetize it, because now they're buying from a Black over-the-counter exchange, they're buying from a Black wallet, they're doing all these things, but it's going to take some helping people to get to where we need to be. And so that's
I know a network of churches, a global network of churches. So if you have a program, let me know. I'll plug you in.
I got it. It's called Church and Crypto. So we are ready to go, because what we're seeing too, Michael Saylor, if you take a look at it, his speech that he did last month, that we were all glued to the computer. A lot of these people are using, they're saving Bitcoin in their endowment funds.
Wow.
So, and this thing is incredible. So he opened my eyes. I started looking around, and now we can go on a whole nother tangent with this, but I finally got my 501c3, first 501c3 that has the word crypto in it, for the Crypto Kids Camp. We finally got it in November, but what I started looking at was how to set up the endowment fund for Crypto Kids Camp. But we started understand, I didn't even realize how many companies were accepting Bitcoin. Like Red Cross and all these other companies, they've got this thing called Giving Block. And if you go to Giving Block, all these companies accept Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, but they didn't even have any cryptocurrency companies or Bitcoin companies listed. It's just like all these other organizations. And I'm like, where has our community been understanding that they're about to pay $1 million in taxes because they've got this Bitcoin, and they've got to find a way to give the Bitcoin away, and we can set ourselves up. So I actually just got involved with the Giving Block. For those of you who may have a nonprofit, they charge a fee to list with them, but they list you with the big boys that are accepting millions of dollars of Bitcoin every single year. These companies
just formed a nonprofit in the UK. It's called a CIC, not a 501c3. It's a CIC.
Okay.
Yeah, under the Game Changer.
Like this, And you find these things out really just starting to probe. Because companies are taking Bitcoin and they're just holding it on their books.
Wow.
I think this is one of the things that we need to also work through. And I'm calling this like digital differentiation. Like this is where we're disenfranchised in many different ways because we do this and we don't know what we're doing and we just get information from different sources. And then we actually are taking on truly liabilities when we don't understand how to maneuver. And I think that's what's happening in a lot of these spaces is that they just think, oh, I need to get it, but they don't have the correct wallets. They're not using the information correctly. Then they're transferring. They don't know, again, they're hitting every taxable event, going in and out. They don't realize every single time they do that, that's a taxable event. So there's so many things that are going on. And I think that's where the disenfranchisement is coming from a digital space. So that's what happens. It doesn't make, you're trying to do real world things in the digital realm and they don't match. They're not the same thing. And we really need that level of education to really happen before we get into something that you don't know, because I see a lot of people getting into the DeFi space. And this is right here where the trouble begins very quickly when they don't know what they're doing. And they're getting into a lot of difficulties and legalities happening specifically when you're putting an organization into it. It's not just an individual like, oh, I'll pay the tax liability. Now you have an organization and now you're holding it on your book and you're making taxable events on different aspects and you don't have it tiered. Like again, because you have to tier it when you bought it at 10,000, when you bought it at 12,000, when you bought it at 50,000. Now you got to keep track because now you got to pay the difference on when you bought it. And no one knows that they're not saying that. And people are like, oh, I just have some. You don't have some, you have a whole lot and at different tiers that the tax now has a liability on.
Absolutely. You're absolutely correct. So this has definitely been a learning experience. Attorney staff, it's been an expensive learning experience because it hasn't all been, as it said, it hasn't been crystal stairs.
Thank you for saying that.
It has been a challenge. I've lost just as recent as what month are we in? Just as recent as this month, lost some money. Just and it's not even in a haphazard way. It's just that this space will teach you some things, and you've got to be on your P's and Q's and not get too high on the highs and too lows on the lows, because it's changing, it's evolving. There are people out there that are, doing good. There are people out there that are doing bad, and you've got to be watching for all of them simultaneously. So it's been interesting. So one of the things I really want to teach our community that I said I was going to do on Clubhouse, it has to be about security, because, phones, your SIM swaps, stuff you don't have to even think you need to think about. We need to start getting ourselves understanding, just even looking at your social media to make sure you're actually chatting with the person you chat with every day, because stuff that looks exactly like me is all my stuff, but there's a 0 instead of an O in my name, and they are everybody's inboxes, and people actually think that they're talking to us. And so we just really, because it's all new and they prey on our community, we just make sure that we're safe. And so
that's the digital disenfranchisement that I'm talking about. That's where we have to educate, because we're at every given point we are being duped, and that's we have to have those safeguards in place, because the disenfranchisement is coming directly for us. They know they're priming and waiting for us to show up in the space and not know.
Absolutely.
I think that's you have to take on that. And I think that's where we have this conversation of people just jumping in. You do have to do some due diligence. It's not going to just be jump in and learn how to swim. You're going to have to learn on land before you jump into the pool.
Absolutely.
You can't do this in this space. But thank you so very much. Eric, do you have any last words to finish this up? Because we have been on here just chit-chatting as we always do with you, because it's fun.
You know what? It's I just want to echo something I've said before, and that is, Najah, you are just a true visionary. Like you really are. Like you're a person who goes to an idea. You really step out on that idea, and you know we honor you for that, for doing that. Like I think you really serve the community really well in that. So we really do appreciate you.
Appreciate you all too.
Absolutely.
To work with all of you. We got some work to do, so I'm excited. I'm excited. We got some stuff, and you all are number one, because one thing I do know, you all are smart, but you are consistent. And I don't care what we are doing, we can always get on here and count on the faces on this screen to be here, be present, and bring the information we need for our community. So even though you don't see me, I'm watching YouTubes, I'm sending folks over there because you all are awesome. February was a month I didn't get a chance to see any of the videos, but now that I know, you know, you did NFT, we had a major family member pass due to COVID in February. So I was kind of zoned out, but I'm gonna get back, figure out these NFTs, and I'm gonna get on there.
I'm here to help. I will. You got my contact information, so you know directly where to find me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and likewise, Najah, very, very honestly, I'm here to help big time. Anything that's got to do with this education, and like we just talked about, outlining that security, that we need to start there. I have to agree with Talisha for sure, because you know, everything shiny, it ain't gold, you know, but they're still coming for us. It might be a train though, so we might want to watch out. So let's get our ebooks together and our whatnots like that. I'm here to help.
Okay,
honestly.
absolutely.
And I'm gonna be hooked in with that Detroit person too for crypto plug.
You're gonna be excited.
I'll let you, girl.
Thank you all for joining us, and thank you again, Najah.
Guys.
We always love you here. It's just great to have you, and you're welcome to come back whenever you so choose, and have us, have us hang out with you.
Absolutely, and thank you all. And it's nice meeting you, Rich. I've seen you, but I've not actually talked to you, so it's a pleasure. And you all will be hearing from us soon. As soon as we solidify this last person, we will definitely be reaching out to make sure that we get the blockchain consultants totally involved in what we're doing, because we need some real strong people.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, and thanks everybody for joining us. Have a nice night.
Thank you.
All right, everybody.
Be safe out there.
Bye.
Have a good night.